Welcome to the Den of Tools.
Howdy ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the old Den of Tools. And today we're talking floor standing drill presses, because at some point you want to upgrade. You want to go from that bench drill press or something, and you need a real beast of machine that you can depend on, and you need to make sure you're going to get the best bang for your buck, and that's what we're here to show you. Now, of course, we're looking at these pretty much in the 17-inch category. We have one 16-inch, two 18 inches on the list. And yes, I have a full detailed spreadsheet. Here you can pause the video if you want to look at it, but I'm also going to have a link down below so you can get all analytical and everything else, and you can do all your numbers and whatnot. So we'll have that there for you. But the reason for the 17-inch mark is because I found anything under 15 inches and under really is just a benchtop drill press that they've put on a floor standing, stand. You don't get the extra horsepower, the extra accessories and benefits, the bigger table, the torque, the larger spindle, all that kind of stuff. This is the reason at 17 inches where you really start getting into that sweet spot as to this is why I wanted to upgrade. So let's talk about real quick what I had when I first started, when I upgraded, and that was I had the Shopsmith Mark V here that set up in a dedicated drill press mode, which was great for a long time. And if you have one or you can get one cheap, it's not a bad solution, honestly. But eventually I stumbled into the Harbor Freight Central Machinery 17-inch drill press, and it's been a great machine. I've had it for 3 years now, and I love pretty much everything about it. It's been fantastic. But let's talk about these, because the Harbor Freight, that's your starting point when it comes to these drill presses. So the 17-inch drill press here from Harbor Freight, as I said, it's a great drill press. It suffers from the problem that a lot of the Central Machinery, kind of a lot of the old school Harbor Freight stuff does, which is quality control. Some of them, the one I have, has been fantastic, but I know people who've had problems with theirs. It's one of those things where you might have to take it back once, maybe twice, to get the one that did actually go through QC and is actually a good deal. But at this price, once you see everything that's out there, you'll see why you might want to consider it. Keep it on the list just in case. As far as the specs, 1 horsepower, 182 pounds, 64 inches high, has a max speed, has 16 speeds, max speed of 3630, minimum speed of 200, which is decent. You got to respect that. Table size, good size table. It's was 11 by 3/4. It's got a 45-degree tilt, like a 90-degree tilt. Stroke on the spindle is 3 1/8. Let's see here. What else here? It does have a trough for cooling. In fact, it actually comes with an LED, or it comes with a light. I don't think it's an LED light. It comes with a light. Comes with a cooling tank and the little dispenser and the trough, which is nice. It's got an MT2 taper, 90-day warranty, typical Harbor Freight kind of stuff. All right, and as I said, $429. Now let's see where we go from here. Next up is we got the Dayton. Now Dayton they were a big name back in the day, and they've since become the house brand for Grainger. So we're over here at Grainger. We're looking at $647 to step up to this next one. Now with this, what are you going to get? Well, it's still 17-inch. 65 inches high. It's a little bit lighter, 175 pounds. It's listed at 3/4 speed, 16 speeds. The max is, again, it's same speeds, 3630 and 200. Same stroke, 3 1/4. Table size is a little bit bigger at 13 1/4. 45-degree tilt again. Yes, it's got the trough. It's got the MT3 taper on it. Comes with a 1-year warranty, but it's got no accessories to go with it. No lights, no cooling. What you see is what you get. All right, next we're going over to the Northern Tool, because they've got the Shop Fox. Now, if you remember, Shop Fox is the OEM brand for Grizzly. Again, no relation. And, it's a pretty decent machine, honestly. I'm a big fan of what Grizzly puts out. The Shop Fox stuff is usually kind of their best, their best in brand, if you will. In this case, I don't really feel like it is, but let's talk about what it is. $740, 17-inch, 65.5 inches tall, 185 pounds, 1 horsepower, 12 speeds, 3050 max, 140 on the low end. That's nice on the low end. If you're doing a lot of metals and stuff, generally speaking, for metals, you're going to want to go lower with the torque on that. So the low speeds are good for that. The stroke on the spindle is 3 1/4. It's got a round table that's 14 inches. It does tilt. They don't tell me how far it tilts. There is no trough on it either. Uses an MT3 taper. It's got a 2-year warranty, which is nice. And as far as accessories, it's got the little safety shield, if that's a thing for you, and the work light. Now, those safety shields, they flip up and out of the way. They're fairly easy to work with and stuff. Nice little extra bit of safety for it. I would have liked to have seen a better table on this. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is this table. Now, it does look like it probably has a 90-degree tilt. Don't quote me on that. I'm just based on looking at this, that's what I'm guessing. But that said, the table is, I think, the real kneecapper on this one. All right, let's go over to Acme Tools and let's look at the Rikon. Now, I'm a big fan of Rikon. I think they put out some great stuff. And this drill press, I definitely put in that list here. Now, currently it's out of stock. All right, it'll be back in November. $750 on the Rikon. 17-inch, 64.37, oddly specific height. 888 pounds, 1 horsepower, 16 speeds. Again, we're looking at the 3630 to 200. All of these, unless otherwise specified, are the manual change belt kind of design you're always going to see on that kind of stuff. It's got a 3.12 stroke. It's got a 14-inch square-ish table. And I say that because if we come down here and look at the table, the back half of the table, the back side of the table has a radius to it, which is interesting. I think that's unique there. I don't know whether it's beneficial or not, but I like the design on it. It does have a trough. It does do the 90-degree tilt. That's awesome. It's got a JT3 taper on it and a 5-year warranty. That's a pretty nice, for the price there. What are we looking at? $750 on that. But if you look at that compared to the Central Machinery, of course, you're getting that extra warranty. Maybe that's what you're paying for, because otherwise, the specs wise, it's a little bit nicer. It's got a nicer table, but the table on the Harbor Freight is pretty decent. So let's start looking at some machines where you really start to see a difference, at least I think. First up, we got the Grizzly 17-inch floor model here. 1.5 horsepower. Let me back up here. Price on this is $825. Now, I didn't include shipping in any of the prices of these because maybe you live near an outlet. Maybe that's not going to be an issue for you, or maybe you've got a coupon code for shipping, something like that. So shipping is going to have to be determined on you. This is listed at $179 for shipping. That's one of the issues with Grizzly, is there's almost always shipping unless you live near one of their 2 outlets. Anyway, $825 on the price, 17-inch, 70 inches tall. They did not give me a weight specification on it. I couldn't find one. Now, the horsepower on this is going to be 1.5. Now, that's higher than any of the other ones that we're going to talk about. Speeds, though, is only 12, but it does 3240 up or down to 180. The stroke on this, now get this, remember the other strokes we're looking at were like 3 1/8, 3 1/4. This one is 4 3/4. The stroke is how far, when you turn the little handles there, how far the spindle will drop. That's your stroke length, and that determines how far you can work into the workpiece. That 4 3/4, that's respectable for a machine this size. Table size is 13 5/8. It's a square table. It does a 90-degree tilt. It's got a trough. It's got an MT3 spindle on it. It's got a 1-year warranty. And it's got a safety shield and work light. That is a respectable workpiece right there. Grizzly always makes great shop products. I'm always a fan of them. So, it's definitely one you want to consider if you're looking to upgrade. This, I put it in here because it's there. It's not one I think I'm going to say, yeah, that's not going to get the Bears paw stamp of approval. Not at this price, but let's talk about it. This is the General International, sold through Home Depot. This is a $839.47, 17-inch, 65 inches high, 165 pounds, 3 3/4 speed. So nothing special about the speeds. Now, it does have 20 different speeds. That is unique. All right. And those speeds range from 280 on the low end, which is nowhere near the lowest we've seen, to 2100 on the high end. Not even close. The stroke on it is 3 1/8. Okay. It's got a 13 3/16 square table with the trough there. We saw that when we go back there. There's the trough on that. Let's see what else this thing can do for us. 90-degree tilt, at least it does that. I could not for the life of me find out what spindle taper this thing has. It says it has a 2-year warranty. Good luck with that. And it does have a safety shield and a work light. And there you can see the safety shield, how those tip up just like that. They get up and out of the way. That's All right, it's a thing. Let's go on to the next one. All right, the Palm Grin 17-inch, 16-speed floor standing drill press here. Now this one's interesting, okay? And I'm not sure about this because it says it's got a digital speed output on it. You can see there on the little thing there that it has a digital readout, but I think you still change the belts manually. It's got a quick release for the belt tensioner in the back, so I don't see this as being a digital variable speed. I couldn't find anything that clarified that, but it does, based on the specs, I'm going to go with its manual belt. It just happens to tell you digitally how fast it's going for some reason. So let's jump into this. Again, the price on this one is, let me close that real quick, $1,089.27. You're looking at 17-inch, 68 inches high. Let's see here. Oh, I take it back. I got a weight on this one. I don't have a weight on this one. The weight on the General International was 165. No weight listed on this one. We're looking at 1 horsepower, 16 speeds, 3,476, oddly specific, down to 138. That's interesting. It's got a 5-inch stroke. That is nice. A 14 by 3/8 table that, yes, it does have a trough. It only has the 45-degree tilt on it, though. It's got an NT2 taper, 3 years warranty. It's got a light and digital speed display. I don't understand why they chose to do the digital speed display. It seems like a superfluous bit of fluff, considering that you can't really do anything extra with it. One thing I'll say about this is I really dig the on-off button. That is a nice industrial, easy to use, just smack that thing and turn it off kind of thing. That is fantastic. All right, moving along here. Let's talk about Jet now. They're a big name in the industry. They've been around for years and years and years. I've admitted that I'm a huge fan of Jet and, a bit of a fan bear, it's true. But let's see what we got here. So we got the Jet. It's $1,099.99, so basically $1,100. 17-inch, 70 inches high, 198 pounds, 3/4 horsepower. I was a little surprised about that. 16 speeds from 3,500 down to 210. Pretty, decent there. The stroke on it's 5 inches. That's nice. Table size is 14 by 19, so it's a rectangular table. It does a 90-degree tilt. It does not have a trough on it, okay? So this is a pretty much woodworking only kind of machine. That's what it's designed for. That's who they market this to. It's got the JT3 taper on it, 5-year warranty. It's got a light, it's got a laser guide, and it's got a keyless chuck. Plus it's got this new space age droid kind of look to it. That's great. It's got the nice power on, power off, emergency switch right there. One thing I'll say is the table does have, looks like it's got T-slots, so you could put a fence on it. You could put some, besides the X kind of slots, being able to put a fence on that would be nice if you've got that kind of setup. There's a lot of, in fact, we're going to talk about some aftermarket tables that have that kind of design. This is one it's built in. Would have liked to seen a trough on it for variable, uses there, but that's not what we're seeing. All right, let's step up to the next one. Now, this is our 16-inch I talked about, and I had to throw this one in here because this is the Nova. The DVR Viking floor model, because typically it's sold as a bench model. That's why they mentioned it's a floor model. 1 horsepower, 16-inch. This thing is unique. Why is it unique? No belts on this sucker. This is a direct drive, digitally speed controlled motor with all sorts of bells and whistles. This is kind of like my dream drill press that at one day I will step up to. So the Nova, again, we're looking at $1,100 on it, 16-inch. I could not find a weight specification on this. It's height specification. Weight is 154. Horsepower said one horsepower. Speeds, it's EVS, electronic variable speed. It's got all the speeds. It's got a 3,000 max. We're going to put an asterisk in that one. And a 1,500 low speed. I think that's the lowest. No, the Shop Fox got down to 140. So that's the second lowest we're going to see. 4.5 stroke. Pretty good considering it's a 16-inch. The table size is 12 and 2/3 square. It does tilt, but no specifications on how far it tilts. Let me see if I can get a pic of the table here. We can get a guess in there. It looks like one of the ones that should be a 90-degree tilt, but I'm not gonna guess on that. I'm really disappointed that it is not a trough table on this, considering the fact that with that variable speed, this thing just basically cries out for being a metal working machine as well. What do we say here? It says tilt, but doesn't say how far. Trough, no. MT2 spindle on it. The warranty is interesting. So it's 2 years on the motor, 5 years on the rest of the parts. Now that ESV, so it's a digital speed, digital depth control. It's got all sorts of great little functions, computer functions built in. It's got also a light. It's got laser guides and all that kind of whiz-bang kind of stuff. This is a fun little machine. All right, next up, we're going up to the big boys. Now, I had to include these. We're stepping outside the range. These next two are going to be our 18-inch serious woodworking machines here. This is the Delta. Again, this is another big name like Jet. They've been around forever. Everyone knows them. So we got the Delta. The Delta's $1,399. No joke here. 18-inch, 70 inches high, 240 pounds in weight. This is a big boy, but it only comes with a 3/4 speed motor or horsepower motor. Surprised about that. Also surprised at the speeds. It's only 16 speeds, 3,000 down to 170. Now the stroke on this is 6 inches, so you got a lot of travel on that. The table, again, this is going to be another one of these woodworking design tables. It's 20 by 14. It's got a 90-degree tilt, but no trough on this. An MT2 spindle, 5-year warranty. It's got a light. It's got a laser guide. In fact, the table here, you can see it will do a multi-compound, let's call it compound angle kind of setup on there. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. And it does have the extra 2 slots. You could put a fence on it as well. But again, I would have liked, maybe that's just me, to see the trough on it. But again, they're designing this for woodworkers. And let's get up to, this is the big boy on the list. All right, the Powermatic, the 1792800B. I don't know why they start off with 17 when this is an 18-inch, but this is a big boy of a drill press here. This one's going to have all the features and all the price. $2,079.99. 18-inch, 71 inches high, 266 pounds, 1 horsepower, EVS. So now we're back to a digital speed controller here. All right, 3,000 is the top speed. 250 is the low speed, 6-inch throw on it, a 20 by 14 table, pretty much the same table. You're looking at, as the Delta there. 90-degree tilt, no trough. Now this comes in an MT2 or JT3 spindle, 5-year warranty. It's got a light, it's got a laser guide, it's got a fence, comes with the fence. It's got the digital speed control on it. This thing is pretty serious, actually, but it's going to be overkill for most people. So let's talk about what's going to be the best bang for the buck here. Where are we going to fall into? Who wins the choice? Well, if budget is your number one consideration, even without the coupons these days, you got to throw it over to the Central Machineries. At $430, there are other good ones out there, but nothing else really comes close to that, does it? So let's then look at, the Dayton's nice. The Shop Fox is decent. Shut up, Moto. I like the Rikon, but I really got to say, I think the Grizzly has all the features, everything I want, and at a price that's not too bad. After that, we're looking up the Palm Grin is decent. I like the a lot of the features on it. Especially the on-off button kind of stuff. But for jumping up to at $1,100, I'm like, well, I could get the Jet, I could get the Nova at $1,100, and then after that, beyond that. So I think the winner for the best bang for the buck has to be the Grizzly. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think that the Bear's wrong? Do you think there's a better choice on it? Of course, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but when it comes down to what's the best bang for the buck, I got to toss it to the cuz there, the old Grizzly. Now let's talk about some of the accessories though. If you're going to get one of these, or if you have one, some of the accessories I highly recommend. Now this is one we've talked about before, the old Klein digital angle gauge there. It's now currently the #1 bestseller in levels over on Amazon, and at $30 for a digital angle gauge. And you're like, well, what do I need a digital angle gauge for a drill press? Well, a drill press, you always want to make sure you're working 90 degrees to the table. If you adjust the table, it's a lot harder to find the angle on it than it is, like, say, with a miter saw where you got the stops and everything else. In the metal tables, they got a magnetic base on the angle gauge. These things just work perfectly with this. And honestly, I'm the sort of bear that I don't just have one of these, all right? Because I'm not going to go find the one from my table saw and take it over to my drill press, then take it over to my miter gauge. I'm going to have one at every workstation. I realize it's $30, but at the end of the day, my workflow is going to make up for that, hopefully. Something else, you saw it in a lot of the pictures probably, you got to get yourself one of the locking clamps here. These, if you have seen these, a lot of people ask what they see them, they don't know what they're for. These are specifically for drill presses. The ring goes under the table there, clamps that to the table, and then you can clamp to your workpiece. It's essentially a set of vice grips designed specifically to work with a drill press or T-slotted table. Now, Harbor Freight sells a decent pair that's a lot cheaper, but if you want to get a mail order pair that's got good reviews, 165 reviews, not much of a hook on that. There's one for $16. Now, did you know you can take your drill press and turn it into a lathe? Now, this says it's for the shops or for the shop Fox, but I would imagine you could modify this for most drill presses, kind of stuff. And it turns your floor standing drill press into a mini lathe. You're not going to do a lot of stock on it, but you can have some fun, turn some stuff with it, basic kind of things for $42.50. All right, this is something if you're going to deal with any kind of round stock, whether you're talking wood, PVC, metal, anything, you got to get one of these. Otherwise, you're just asking for problems. Even if you're using a clamp, this is going to work better because it's going to use the natural angles of the workpiece itself to keep it in place. Self-centering jig here for $19.80. Next up, as I said, here's a clamp. That's one thing, moving a clamp around. Now, don't think this is a machinist clamp. You're not going to be using this to turn your drill press into a mill. Don't do that. They don't have the support on the spindles that you need when you're doing stuff like milling kind of work. That's not what this is for. This is just for moving the workpiece, in small incremental amounts and being very accurate with it. This is the Win compound cross slide industrial strength benchtop and drill press for $66.28. All right, I was talking to tables, and Win's got a great little one out here. It's not a super high-end table, but it's good for your basic DIY or weekend warrior. You got a fence, you got a stop lock on it, you got a couple clamps to keep things in place. $47.43 on that. All right, next up, this. I know you're looking at this. What is that thing? Remember those lasers we were talking about? It lets you get a little cross laser guide so you can see exactly where you're drilling. Well, this lets you add that to pretty much any drill press, and you can then have those same functionalities on your drill press. Let me step here. Now, as to how you mount it, it goes up against, look at this. It goes right up against the drill press there, and then you just use a belt clamp like that to cinch it down. And that is $37.50 for something like that. Next up, how about this? Convert it into a sander. This turns your drill press into a spindle sander. You just take the size spindle you want, put the sandpaper on it, tighten it up there and put it in your chuck, and you've got a spindle sander for $21.92. The only downside is it's not oscillating, so you kind of have to do that yourself. Just pay attention to it when you're sanding it, but it's a great way to take a single machine and make it more versatile. All right, next up, this thing. You're like, what is that? Check this out. That clamps to your post and gives you a great little work table on the side. You can put drill bits and all sorts of miscellaneous stuff in there. Sure, you could make it yourself. This is one of those kind of projects that would probably be fun to make, and maybe I will, but I'll be honest, for $19, wood alone these days, you might be coming out in a win with that one. But anyway, I just had to include it because it is such a nice little piece of woodworking there, and the price is not that bad. All right, moving along. LED work light here. Now, this is called a sewing machine light, but it's got a magnetic light or magnetic base on it. And if you've got a drill press that doesn't have a light, trust me, having a light is better than not having a light. And for $16, plus you save an extra $1 when you click the coupon down there. Right, Dan? Where to go? There, to see extra coupon. Look at that, $1. Bear finds the deals for you. Look at that. Anyway, great little switch on. This is perfect. All right. This is perfect for a drill press, something like that, or any kind of work, bench top or whatever stationary tool you have in the shop. More light is always better. All right, moving along. All right, an adjustable mobile base. Moving a drill press can be a real pain. They're hard to find an angle to grab a hold of. They want to slip out of your paws. The base isn't big enough to kind of walk it around easily without worrying about knocking it out of alignment. Bolt it to a good solid piece of wood, put it in one of these things, and and just be done with it. And then when you need to move it, you just step on the two little paddles there, and it'll glide to wherever you need it, and then just kick them back up, and now you have a nice stable work platform again. I see a lot of guys putting drill presses on rolling cart kind of things with wheels. Not a great idea when it comes to something this big, because the center of gravity is so high on a drill press. You need it on a firm, flat, ground level base. All right, and last but not least, this is something I like to put on pretty much almost all of my stationary tools. Not my table saw, but a lot of my other ones. And that is the foot switch controller. This thing is fantastic. Great for easy use. Great for safety also. Those of you who've been drilling metal, let's be honest, raise your paw if it happened to you. Yep, it's happened to me. Where you're drilling a piece of metal and it gets bound in the workpiece. And what happens next? It starts the spinning metal piece of death dance. And now you've got to step back so you don't get whacked by that thing, and then reach and either pull the plug or reach up and reach over the thing that's the spinning hot piece of metal death and hit that power button. Unless you've got the foot controller here and you're standing there, your foot's on the controller, things start to go wonky, you step back and boom, power's cut. Just that simple, just that easy. I use it for all sorts of control. I use it with bench grinders. I use it with my spindle sander, and I use it with my drill press. It's fantastic for that reason. Anyway, that's all the Bear has for you today. Let me know if you think that I missed out on any of them. Again, I think the pick of the day is going to go to the Grizzly. There's always some wins and some losses anytime you do this, but that's my go-to one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Argue it out amongst yourselves. Flame the Bear if you think you must. And also, while you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button. It helps out with the old algorithms. And if you think you got value out of this and other kind of videos that we do here, make sure you smash that subscribe and ring the bell on the way out so you don't miss out any more videos. Of course, we got Black Friday stuff coming. You don't want to miss any of the deals. We're going to be on top of them. All right. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.